Hey guys, and welcome back to the Game Over Stream Team podcast. Our guest right now is Sarah, which is the manager here of the restaurant, and then we've got Liz over on the other side here of me, which is also Tu's wife, and she also works here at Game Over Lounge. And we're going to be talking about sustainable technology, which can pretty much be applied to anything. So, due to the fact that Tu is very interested in technology in general, he's going to lead charge in the topics, and we will bring in our opinions of what we think about certain things. And one topic, for example, would be cricket farming as an example of something that's sustainable. And for those of you who don't know what sustainable technology is, it's basically something that you can do anywhere. So you can create, you can live in the middle of nowhere with full oxygen, full food, and full water. That means it's sustainable. All right.
Wait, how did you say it? Technology that you can live anywhere?
I was using an example. Like if something is sustainable, you can live anywhere in the world with no attachments, and you can, live a normal life. That's what I tried to say. Sorry.
Self-sustained. Yes,
self-sustained. So Tu.
When I think about sustainable technology, I think about like apocalypse, living in with my families and friends in the middle of nowhere, happily ever after on my own. It's kind of cool. I guess that's a lot of people think about like that.
Well, I mean, I'm new to the sustainable technology route, so I haven't read up on too much, but I do, like before this topic. But I mean, certain stuff like being able to filter toxic water and stuff like that, and using biofuel instead. That's like the things that I probably have read the most about in terms of newspapers and general public knowledge, because I don't think sustainable technology gets covered that much in newspapers right now.
Yeah, it depends where you are, where you're from, right?
It's like the mass consummation of plastic in Thailand. I highly doubt that they're going to talk anything that's negative about plastic here, because it's used literally everywhere.
Yeah.
Either way, before we continue, Sarah, why don't you introduce yourself first, formally?
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Sarah, and I'm the GM at Game Over, the coolest, sexiest gaming lounge in Thailand. Yeah.
Damn right.
Hi.
All right, and Liz, who are you?
Hi, Sarah. Hi, my name's Liz. I am the wife of Tuwinski, and I also work here at Game Over, the very best hangout spot in Bangkok.
Is that you?
That was me. I got him.
Okay, sorry. But I mean, sustainable technology. What comes to people's mind when they first hear the word sustainable technology, right? I mean, to me, I guess it's more like the solar energy, sustainable food. That could be insect farming. I mean, it means less. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, sustainable technology is like anything that is using, renewable source, right? So, like, as opposed to, for example, fossil fuels that are not renewable because they eventually deplete, and it's a finite resource. Like, as opposed to fossil fuels, there's wind, there's solar, there's geothermal. So all of these things are, they're naturally occurring, and we can kind of, draw from it infinitely over and over again.
Yes.
And so these sustainable technologies, the whole point is because we need to take care of the environment, take care of the one planet that we can live on. For now, anyway.
Most people would look at it as having to cut down on CO2 emission, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just you looking at what is economical, what is environmentally sound, what is good for our health, trying to eliminate pollution in the water, in the air.
Speaking of that, I have a question in terms of Thailand here, as you're all residing in Thailand, two of you are Thai.
Milks of power.
Sure.
3 of us are Thai.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
yes,
speaking Thai and like.
Do I count?
Yes. You still count, but I mean you don't speak Thai. That's what I meant. Either way, my point is, I haven't really seen any wind power here at all. Does that actually exist? Because I mean, if there's something that is very unpredictable in Thailand, it's the weather. I mean, wind power should be amazing here. I know outside of Sweden, just in Denmark, like in the middle of the ocean, they just recently built, I don't know if it was 50 or 100, or something like that, I think. And I mean, that's one of the easiest ways to gather electricity, especially in the middle of the ocean. And I mean, Thailand has plenty of unpredictable weather, and it also has oceans. I mean, why is there no wind power here?
I don't know. I not enough
Yeah, that's
open spaces. I don't know.
That's actually a good question.
Yeah.
I've never seen wind power ever in any provinces in Thailand. I mean, I could be wrong. Any of you guys might know any wind power energy in Thailand, but mostly we have solar power for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's profitable enough.
No, there's
exactly.
there's a company called Vestas Winds. It's Danish, and they just released their quarterly report today. And due to the fact that the competition is getting higher in wind power as well, their revenues are dropping. But they make, I think, it was 3,000 million euros. That's what, 3 billion? No, sorry, wait. I don't remember the exact numbers. Anyway, they make a fuck ton of money on wind power, so for them it's profitable anyway. And their margin is, I think, 40%. Maybe incorrect on that, but I don't think it's completely non-profitable. I may be wrong, of course.
Oh, whoa! Don't shoot me there, buddy.
That's me.
All right. Yeah.
I would think. I mean, wind power, sure. I mean, it's very expensive to put one up, but they also last for what, like indefinitely, as long as you take care of it. I'm not sure. Someone in the chat here though is saying there are wind powers in Thailand. By the way, I would love to know where, because
really?
it does make perfect sense to have it here. I just never seen it.
Why
Maybe
would
they
it
can
make
educate
perfect sense to have it here?
Because of the fact that the weather is so unpredictable and there's a lot of wind, and also because you have ocean all around you, and there's a lot of bad weather here, and the worse the weather, the faster the wind spins and the more power you get. And it's easy to store as well. I mean, that's why in Sweden, where the weather is usually, it was just rainy, not very windy, we just put it outside of Sweden in the middle of the ocean, in between Denmark and Sweden, and we just gather it there, because the ocean's always windy. I don't think wind turbines are that expensive, but I don't know. I'm not read up enough on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the chat is saying that recently the problem has been that wind turbines have been breaking easily, so it looks like I was wrong on that. So that would make sense.
Okay.
Sorry.
I mean,
yep.
to have wind turbine, you need like a lot of space, but Thailand, we don't have that much like flat land, open space. Does it have to be flat land? No.
No, you can put it anywhere.
No, I guess it doesn't have to be flat land. It just has to be open space where the wind is,
Can't hear you. Yeah.
Sorry, now I'm just reading about wind power in Thailand now. So apparently we have the largest wind farm in Southeast Asia.
What?
What?
Yeah.
Well,
I guess they need to up their PR game. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's
Mini over here. Mini. Oh.
So the company behind it is Siemens.
Oh, the guy's out
All
here.
right.
Yeah. It's in the province of Nakhon Ratchasima. Is that
Correct. Yes.
correct? Okay.
Yeah, sorry about that. We just killed someone.
Sorry, Lid. Yep, we just.
There is a Thai Wind Energy Association, so of course there's wind energy in Thailand. Just it's not properly advertised or marketed.
So we got someone actually who knows what he's talking about here in chat. He is saying, like you guys expected, apparently wind turbine is just not cost efficient, period. Per power produced, it's not cost efficient. So that makes perfect sense, because I was always wondering, why do we not see it in Thailand? And why are we not making more of it? But if it's not cost efficient, that makes sense. But then that raises the question, why doesn't the government, use tax money to build these things? Because, I mean, I'm sure the government can spare a little bit of money making sure that these run properly. Because at the end of the day, it's very good for the environment. It doesn't take anything, pretty much, in comparison to, actual energy right now. And the problem about, you guys mentioned solar energy, and I'll use an example from my home. So we used to, in my parents' house, we used to have a pool. We have a pool, sorry. And we used to power that pool with solar energy. But the problem was that Sweden doesn't always have the sun out. So the pool wasn't powered about 80% of the time. My point about this is that solar energy can't always be powered. And as you educated me to, the problem about solar energy is that we can't actually store it anywhere right now. Like we're having
it's
problems.
Not just solar. It's just storage in general with batteries.
Yeah, but in most countries that don't have the all-year sun like Thailand, it's hard to power stuff with solar energy. Period.
Yeah.
Apparently, there is science right now working on making wind turbines more efficient and less costly, but he says that the plan is about 20 or 30 years behind. This is sometimes the chat is good on educating.
Yeah, you guys are great. You have some well-informed subscribers
Yeah.
or viewers.
Well done.
Well done.
So what Thailand also has are cricket farms, and that's another form of sustainable technology, sustainable agriculture.
So why don't you explain what cricket farming is to the people who are unaware, myself included, besides the fact that it sounds like you're going to farm and eat crickets.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. So pretty much you're just harvesting crickets, and Thailand has 20,000 cricket farms right now. And they're seen as a sustainable food source because they take up a lot less water and food, and they have significantly less environmental impact than, cattle, cows, pigs, poultry. And they don't need a lot of space. They don't require a lot of resources at all. And they're very easy to reproduce.
But so, sorry, why is it that it doesn't take a lot of resources? Could you explain a little bit on, if you have the information, like why is it so easy?
I mean, because they're these tiny little crickets, They,
but what is
they don't
required?
Require like.
What is required to run the farm?
They don't require a lot of water. They don't require a lot of water, right?
Okay.
They don't require a lot of water. They don't require, animal feed. They don't require a lot of space. You could even build your own little cricket farm in your home.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, for example, if you want to have a cattle farm, like the whole world cattle farms can feed like the whole of Africa, the food that you actually feed those cattle. So they actually use a lot of, like food and water, whilst crickets, they eat,
Most cattle today are fed by corn. How much water does it take to grow corn, right?
Yeah.
And then how much water does each cow drink? How much CO2 emission does it give off every time they fart?
Yeah, all the methane that's released from the cows. And also with crickets, like
Shit, we need to go.
Yep.
Crickets can eat, just food waste. You can save your food waste, put it in the compost, give it to your crickets. They can eat bugs. They're omnivores, so they can eat plants, bugs.
And it's organic, no hormones is injected to crickets, and it's more beneficial actually. It's more nutritious, right?
So technically,
good source of protein.
Technically, how many crickets would you need to eat per day for a healthy diet? There's a car ahead of us.
I don't know about that.
That's really hard to say because you need to look at the individual and
of course,
look at the individual's like dietary needs. But I have met this one guy in Bangkok who is making cricket pasta. So he makes cricket pasta, and it's a blend of like semolina flour, whole wheat flour, and then cricket flour. So it's 20% cricket flour. And what he said that is that most cricket flour products will only have 15% cricket flour. And actually any more is usually a bit too expensive for retail. Because I guess I'm not sure how much it costs for him to grow the crickets, but that's what he's told me. And he sells his box of cricket pasta for about, what was it, 130 baht.
Have any of you guys ever eaten cricket before?
Nope, I strictly stay away from bugs.
Why?
Which is probably narrow-minded.
Yes, why?
Because I'm like every other person on the earth growing up. Bugs are bad, insects are bad, they're disgusting. As a kid, you get scared of them or you trample them.
Who told you that?
No one.
But who told you?
No one told you not to. That's the thing. And in the general public opinion.
No, I'm not saying an individual told you that. You're just, you're just.
It's just what
got caught by the mainstream.
Exactly. That's my point.
By the food industry. You've been lied to the whole time that you're supposed to eat chicken breasts, fillet steaks. That's the only good source of protein, food, or whatever in general, right? And that's where we're at nowadays. That's why people are starting to get a bit more educated, that they've been lied to.
Well, I wouldn't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I may or may not have been manipulated when I was young, and now I don't. I just stay away from bugs. I think they're disgusting. And that's not someone who told me. It's just the way my brain's been thinking for, well, since I was a kid.
No, that's fine. That's just because you know, I'm sure your family members were afraid of bugs at one point, and they were like, "Ew, run away." And then you're like, you see them, and you're like, "Oh shit, I gotta be afraid of that too because my mom is." You know.
It's a cultural thing, right? I mean, right now there's 2 billion people in this world who eat insects, and it's like, you know, a daily source of nutrition for them. But it's culturally acceptable, you know, in parts of Africa, Asia, here in Thailand. But you know, there's another question, like, would you eat insects if they were packaged differently, if it was more like palatable? Like, now they're using mealworms in protein bars.
Pontus would eat anything if he doesn't know what it is.
Exactly.
I mean, you could eat crickets and you wouldn't even know.
No, like, to put a perfect example here, like one of my favorite soups.
Oh shit! Being shot at. Oh shit!
Wow. I just shot him like 5 times, didn't die. Military vest.
I turned my sound off because I wanted to.
Yeah, a perfect example is one of my favorite soups here in Thailand is a dark noodle soup, and I was just told 30 minutes ago that there's cow blood in my soup, and that's what makes it taste amazing. And I got disgusted automatically. I had a bad feeling inside, even though I've had that soup like 15 times. And that's because I grew up, you know, thinking that shit's fucking stupid and it's bad and it's just bleh. And
but what is the difference?
So now that you're
eating cow. You're eating like the meat of the cow. What's the difference if you have some blood in the soup?
No,
it's
like,
all from the same animal.
No, here's my point. Like I love the soup. I'm gonna keep eating it. But if I knew this,
now that you know it's not, you've been lied to, and so there's no way of you to actually. You don't think there's some way for you to switch your thinking?
Well, I have no problem eating this. No problem eating.
Well, I understand where Pontus is coming from because he didn't grow up eating these things, you know. Yeah. So it's like I
didn't grow up eating any of that either.
Me neither.
I mean, for me, because I've grown up eating insects since I was like young, you know. So I'm okay with eating insects or even blood.
Forget about insects.
Blood.
Forget about insects. We're talking about just regular food that we're not used to eating, okay? And you know, if I finally figured out, oh shit, well, you know, this is actually nutritious, this is actually good for me, just because I'm not used to eating it, and my whole life I've been taught that it's gross, that I'm supposed to stay away from, and especially if I was taught to believe, which is bullshit, that I'm supposed to eat meat, you know, these proteins, animal protein, because it's healthy for me, and I find out this is all bullshit. It actually not just bullshit. Whether it's, you know, causes cancer, and so how am I as an individual? How am I supposed to go about it? You know, obviously I'm gonna do more research. I'm gonna try to be a better individual. And okay, well, maybe that's wrong, and I want to try. I want to try to see if I can, you know, change my habits, right? For the just to I don't know, just for change, right? And at least that's something that I want to teach my kids and shit as well. But Pontus here, an example. What kind of bothers me is I don't think that insects. Insect fucking sucks. You know, I don't like it. But okay, fine. Like, right? You don't have to like it, but like, I think you should like start to look into it and maybe, you know, try to understand why it is good for you. I think maybe if you do that, you might end up one day enjoy it.
That's very possible, and a perfect example of that in terms of things that I grew up hating is like, this is a very bad example, but it's still changing my view on things. Is like, I hated broccoli as a kid. I was almost afraid of it, and now it's one of the things that I eat every single day because of all the nutrition inside of it. And that's because when growing up, I learned that all the good things there was in broccoli, and eventually I researched it, and I found several ways of cooking it in a way that made it more tastable without removing that nutrition. And now broccoli is almost in my everyday diet. So yeah, there is, of course, it's possible to change the way you think and the way you eat. So I'm not saying I'm never going to eat insects. I'm just saying the reason I haven't been eating it up until now is because of how I grew up. But it's not like I'm never going to try it because that's how I grew up. Things can always change. Broccoli did, and that also means that maybe insects could too in the future. the more acceptable it gets, and the more available it gets. Because right now you can't really go eat insects anywhere unless you're in Asia. If I go to Sweden, there is no way I'll find a single insect on any supermarket unless I go to these, like maybe a cricket farm if they exist. You can't
Actually,
find
yes.
it.
In Sweden, in Denmark, and the Netherlands, it's quite it's becoming more readily available to find, not like not like whole crickets per se, but like protein powders, protein bars, pasta sauces, cricket pasta, that sort of thing. So even in Switzerland, I just saw an article. In Switzerland, they've come out with these insect burgers that are made from mealworms and crickets, and they're packaged very nicely. They look like a meat patty, except they're made of insects. So I think it all depends on the way that it's presented. I mean, I think there's a lot of people who are like Pontus who are very apprehensive about eating the bugs, but I think when you start to think about the impact that it will have on our planet, and also when you really think about like cows and poultry and pork and all these animal proteins, if you really think about the way those are produced, I think you're going to have a huge like shift in perspective, because just look at the cows, look at the way that they're handled or mishandled, like they're mistreated. Look at all the shit that they're given to eat, all the shit that they're injected with. They're living in their own like feces, and they're living in these horrible, horrible conditions. They're eating this horrible crap. You in turn are eating all of that horrible crap as well. So for me, it's like a no-brainer. I would rather eat a cricket that, is just eating, very simple. There's no hormones, there's no antibiotics given to the crickets. And, you just find a way to make it work for you in a way that, maybe you're not grossed out by it.
Yeah.
I think it's more, the more research and the more it becomes publicly available, the more people will accept it. I mean, we still have, for example, global warming. We still have people like the President of the United States saying global warming is a fucking sham and it's all bullshit, even though all science says otherwise. And people like that are a huge, blockade from normal people, because they're going to believe him. It's the President of the USA. If he says that there's no global warming, probably 50% is going to believe him. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there, especially like you said, in the food industry, saying that crickets are bad for you as well in some way. And that stops people from eating that as well. There's always going to be someone opposing your view for either personal gain, well, mostly personal gain, I would say, or just monetary.
Yep. Oh, someone's here, dude.
Oh yeah, I don't have a weapon.
Oh, shit.
Alright, we gotta get out of here.
I mean, in the future, the education in food will change anyways, because in the past, you guys remember how we were taught that milk is a source of calcium, and we used to drink cow milk all the time. But now, since science has gone so much better, we found out that foods such as beans or wheat has way more calcium, and actually cow milk has very little calcium. So people are actually being more educated, same as insects or any other form of food.
It's not just calcium. I think, and there's more research now actually what calcium actually does for you. In calcium, you were taught that there's a lot of calcium in dairy products, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. In the documentary that I watched way back called Forks Over Knives, it was saying that Americans consume more dairy products than any other nation around the world, but yet they have the largest number of bone diseases.
Yeah, well, what happens with the dairy is like when you consume dairy, it actually pulls the calcium from the bones.
Wait, what?
They say that the dairy, when you consume dairy, it actually pulls calcium from your bones.
So you're saying it has the opposite effect. It actually pulls it away from the bones instead of giving you calcium.
Yes,
you need magnesium as well to make it.
I'm making a note here. Titus, please, when you edit this episode, Titus, please add a source to that. I'm sure you can find that somewhere.
Yep.
Sure, yeah, lots of sources.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, because then he can just add the source in a side note here somewhere on the screen. I'm interested in that. Wow. Pulling it from the bones? I've never heard that before.
Yeah, that was in the documentary as well.
let's try and interact with the viewers here. So viewers, have you guys heard about any of this that Liz just talked about, or do you have any opinions on what we just mentioned overall in terms of this particular subject before we move on to the next one? But mostly what I'm reading here is like every European that I recognize as a European is highly against of eating crickets, and they just say, well, I'd rather go fucking vegan, they said, than eat the goddamn cricket. So that's like the kind of reaction we're getting from the chat here generally.
Then go vegan. Then go fucking vegan. Fucking, you know, go vegan. And then if that's what you're willing to do to help out, you know, in the, you know, the planet that you live in to make it more sustainable, then good for you, right?
Yeah.
The whole idea of cricket is in the first place is that it's more sustainable.
Yeah, and the viewers here are agreeing with you guys, saying that they all said that, yeah, milk is bad. And we'll see here. Okay, so they're saying that we have a doctor in the chat saying that that's why the milk industry changed it to 1 to 2 glasses a day, because then it's not damaging to your bones, in a way of having a defense of actually selling the milk product still.
Wow.
Fascinating.
That's I don't think you, well, look, cow's milk is supposed to be for baby cows. Nobody else should be drinking that shit other than baby cows, right? And first of all, cows only produce milk when they're pregnant and after they give birth. Cows are not supposed to produce milk their whole lives. So they've been injected hormones, and at birth they're like thrown in these cages just to produce milk. And that's the think about it. That's the shit that we're drinking.
Guys, someone's downstairs.
The what?
No, just outside, downstairs on the other side. I'm jumping out.
Okay.
But yeah, I personally grew up with that 1 to 2 glasses of milk a day as well. I mean, it was even in the commercials in Sweden, if I recall correctly.
I think we all did, right?
Yeah. Like,
yeah, because it was in the 90s when they did a huge, massive campaign. Like,
sorry,
milk,
210, 210.
It was from the dairy industry, and they spent so much money on it. And now we know better. But it's still, you're still like challenging the status quo. You're still challenging, very like ingrained beliefs that, you need milk to build strong bones. You need milk. Kids need milk to grow tall, to be healthy. And, it's a belief that's still ingrained in us that we kind of have to fight. And we kind of have to look for like alternative sources like nut milks and things like that.
Yeah, and I mean, I've heard about all this milk talk for so long now. So when I came to Thailand, and I come from a country where we drink milk pretty much every day for whatever reason. So I always had milk to my dinner. I just really enjoyed having milk to my dinner for whatever reason. And then I came to Thailand, and the milk here is really bad. Like, it just tastes awful. So I started drinking soy milk instead. And then just a few months after that, I found out that soy milk actually has so much, what's the female thing again, testosterone?
Estrogen.
Estrogen, right, in English, yeah. But yeah. I found out it has tons of estrogen, and that's terrible. So fuck you. God damn it.
Yeah, so a lot of soy products contain a lot of estrogen. Yeah. And that's a huge problem because it obviously it creates some problems, especially in the men.
It has a lot of sugar as well in our soy milk.
Yeah, soy milk has a lot of sugar, and then it has a lot of like stabilizers and preservatives to keep it on the shelf. Especially the ones that are like packaged at room temperature, that keep at room temperature for like months, like
get out of here. Yeah.
You wonder what they put in it to make the shelf life so long.
Yeah.
But I mean, you also think about, cow's milk has all that crap in it, and then, soy milk, and then, the best thing to do is just make your own milk, I think. Like at home, we make our own almond milk. It just takes a little bit.
May I just interrupt you right there before we continue? Because this question is really good. He's saying here, then you can continue after. How should you actually be able to handle all this misinformation and conflict of interest? Because the more he reads, the more confused he gets, because everything that we're saying or that he's been reading is contradicting everything he's been taught in life. Like, how do you actually manage to go from everything you've learned your whole life to completely changing that when every public information tells you the opposite? Well, how do you do that? That's what he's asking.
I mean, I think you just have to. I mean, you should approach everything in life with the same kind of like curiosity, you know. And I think you have to try to take like the best like non-biased stance and just look at all of the information that you can, and then just make your best judgment. But definitely don't trust just one source. You know, look at a multitude of sources, and I guess at the end of the day, you just make your own judgment.
Yeah, I guess that could be difficult. I think you just got to look at the sources, where those sources are, and you gotta dig deeper into where the people that you're buying this from, like what are their motives? Like, and most of them, I would say nowadays, is all about profit and economic growth. You know, you gotta. I think that's probably one of the main factors you gotta look at, right? What is the business model of these companies? Why are you're paying them, you give them your money? Is it worth it? I mean,
and here's another good question. He says, if we can't trust the public knowledge, how can you say that we should trust alternate knowledge? And I think it goes back to what you said. I think at the end of the day, it's all about just making your own decision from all the information, because I'm sure two different people will think two different things, even though they took in the same information into their brain. So at the end of the day, just look at all the information yourself and then just make a decision based out of that.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that rule could be applied to pretty much anything. It's not just food.
Oh, you're gonna do that again?
Oh my
God! Damn it!
Exactly. I mean, a good way to a good place to start is to look at a study, and you look at who commissioned the study. So sometimes you'll see, like a study that says, milk is great for you, blah, blah, blah. And you have to actually look at who commissioned it, who supported it financially. And sometimes you'll see that it's actually, these big names in that industry. Who's actually put money towards and funded this study. So it takes some digging, and it takes being very aware and being like a bit of a detective. But when it comes to like your own health, and I think it's worth it. Just put a little bit of time and energy into finding out where your food is really coming from, and just finding out, alternative viewpoints, questioning even those alternative viewpoints.
And I think also, like, once you become interested in, with research and stuff, it will get easier, because the more you know, the more you're going to understand how the system works. I think, I mean, I don't think anybody will fully understand it, but I think it gets easier.
Yeah, and like someone said here, he's saying, so lying to the public is not punished by law. My answer to that is that most people don't even know they're lying to the public. Most people believe what is published in the public in every single news. Most people.
Sorry, I disagree with that.
You disagree? I mean, no, I'm speaking from a journalist point of view, not like a scientist. If a scientist posts something, there is something behind it, right? Maybe it's profits, maybe it's...
Well, where are those scientists coming from? If you're looking at the USDA, these organizations are supposed to be by scientists approving the meat is good for you, but they're paid by these big corporations to print out whatever they want to be printed out to the public.
Yeah, but so...
are you going to sit there and tell me that these scientists don't know what the fuck they're printing?
Of course not. I'm talking about the people publishing their information, not the scientists themselves. Like the public networks, like the online news websites, the journalists. I mean, their agenda is obviously getting clicks. They want to get as many views as possible, but they're also there to educate the public on what's going on behind the scenes.
Okay, but then you got to ask what are their sources? Where's the research behind it? Show me stats. Show me.
But I think that's his question. So how can they just publish all of this if it's fake and not get punished by the law?
I mean, Liz is right. In the end, it all depends on your own judgment and your own common sense. Like, there's always going to be marketing for bad stuff, like alcohol or cigarettes. It just depends on your value and what you want to, what your lifestyle you want to choose.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting a lot of positive feedback right now about the topic and the podcast in general, so it seems like people are enjoying it. And when someone says we should all be smoking weed instead, it would be a lot better for the podcast, he said.
Yes,
I agree.
We take oil dips here. That's a topic for another day, by the way.
Yeah, that's another day.
That's a good topic.
It's coming.
Yeah, we
It's on
will
the
be
list.
talking about THC in the future.
We'll have a lot more to say.
THC and DMT.
But yeah, that's for another topic. So sorry, Liz, I interrupted you when you were talking about making your own almond milk, I think. So what was your point with that particular story? If you remember, I interrupted you quite long ago, so...
No, I was just saying, you know, if you're looking for another alternative, and we make our own almond milk at home. It's very easy. You can buy like raw organic almonds and just soak them yourself, put them through a blender, and then strain them, and you have your own almond milk at home. And there's no sugar, there's no salt, there's no preservatives, like no stabilizers or anything. So that's like a very easy way to do it. Almonds are still a bit expensive in Thailand, but if you're in like the States, they're a lot more affordable. But you can make milk out of anything. You can make rice milk, oat milk. You can make milk with all types of seeds, all types of nuts.
Yeah.
All right. So, but what's the actual nutrition value of almond milk? Why would people want to make it at home?
Well, the thing is, the almond milk, it doesn't have as much as many like vitamins and minerals, but I think the biggest like reason for making it is just, you know, it's not cow's milk. It's like a healthy, you know, it's like a healthy vegan alternative to milk.
All right.
And you know, for cow's milk, you know, a lot of people, especially in Asia, they're lactose intolerant. And more, a lot of people are becoming lactose intolerant just because it's very hard to digest the milk. So that would be a good alternative.
All right. Okay. I think there's something that is very, very interesting here now as our final topic before we finish off today's episode. To me, anyway, you might disagree, and we can take another one. But oh, fucking hell! Always.
What the fuck?
I always do that.
Oh.
Okay. Is filtered water and bottled water. Speaking about sustainable technology, being able to drink water from anywhere by filtering toxic water is, for me, something that's going to be very important in the future, because water is probably going to be, in a long time, if we don't manage to find something sustainable, you know, basically a currency, because it's going to be, water is the way of life.
Yep.
So what is your guys' opinion, considering we're in Thailand, where every low to mid-range
Let's go the edge circle.
Yep. Low to mid, like people who make low salary or mid-range salary, they can't afford a filter. What is your guys' opinion on like bottled water in general? And should people just like be more aware and just say, "Fuck it, I'm gonna save for 2 months so I can buy a filter and actually be more nice to the environment"? Or is it not their fault and bottled water should just be, you know, a general availability to everyone?
Actually, there's another documentary called Slingshot that I watch. It's about the guy who invented Segway. He's an inventor, first of all. He actually invented this filtration system where you can let's go over here, where you can just put in water from anywhere and it'll filter out and it becomes drinkable, right? But right now that system, the technology is still quite expensive. The reality is the government should be buying that kind of technology and putting it in different villages or wherever that needs water, right?
Yeah, I have a perfect example with Sweden's. The way that we're spending our tax money right now is ridiculous. They just spent, I don't know how much in baht, I think 8 million baht on a goddamn wall for people to put graffiti on. That 8 million could have been invested. Well, now Sweden's a very healthy country, so we have water in our taps. But my point is that that's a perfect example of spending money really fucking shittily. That could be spent on, for example, you know, being able to filter water. Now, we have great water in Sweden, and we can get water anywhere from any tap because our systems and our pipes are great. But from a country like Thailand, I'm sure a lot of the infrastructure could instead be invested into filtered water. In our condo here in Thailand, I think we have an Anway filter, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's 6,000 baht, which is about $180, and that lasts you about half a year of water for a couple, so 2 people. And that's not too heavy for an investment for people with normal salaries, but for the low-end people, it's kind of hard. So, do you think there should be, like, if you're not making enough money, should the government come in, or should it be publicly available for everyone? Should the governments instead try and focus on giving everyone filtered water? or just the people who can't afford it?
From what I believe, the government does filter water in Thailand, but the thing that makes water dirty is actually the pipe system that has been installed in Thailand for like 30, 40 years. And there's leakage, you know, to your condo, to your housing estate. So that's why, sorry, I was interrupted by a customer. That's why we have like dirty water. That's why you still need water filter in your homes. There's different types of water filter from like 2,000 baht to, you know, ridiculous price like 30,000 baht. It just depends like what type of filter it is. Could be like like a coal, like a normal coal filter. That's cheap. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But do you think, the main question is, do you think it's the government's job to make sure everyone is actually healthy towards the environment by buying a filter, or is it the individual's problem of buying a filter? Because in my opinion, it should be, if what you're saying is true, it's the pipe's fault. It should be Thailand's #1 priority to fix these pipes. Because that means you're saving money for your entire country. You're helping people with spending, well, 2,000 to 6,000 baht on filters by just fixing your pipes. And from what I'm aware of, Thailand is the richest king in the world, right? Well, sorry, the government is like the richest in the world, right?
The government? No, not the government.
Oh, sorry,
the monarchy.
The monarchy.
I mean, that means like fixing the whole master plan of Bangkok.
Yeah, and that's probably not going to take one day, but I mean, isn't that something that's worth investing? Shouldn't that be something that is the government's priority, not the individuals?
For sure, like as you see, like Thailand, the problem right now is the government doesn't really look like 20 to 30 years ahead. They pretty much build whatever is convenient for now and fix the problem later in the future.
What's convenient for now, it's what's profitable and what's not.
Yeah, I think they only really do like band-aid solutions, right? So maybe you know, they'll give us some solution, but it's not going to actually fix the problem. It'll maybe like alleviate it at first, but it's a problem that's, you know, it's long term, it's ongoing, it's a matter of public health. But it's a massive change to do it, and it will take a lot of money that I think the government just doesn't want to put towards, so which is pretty bad. The thing about Thailand is that so many people are drinking, especially the ones who can't afford, like, you know, the proper filters. They're drinking bottled water, and the bottled water is a big problem because you don't really know how clean the water is in the bottle, and you don't really know the source, and the fact that it's in plastic, that it's stored in plastic, and you know, while these bottles are being transported, they're sitting out in the hot sun. When the plastic heats up, the chemicals leach into the water. You know, it's not good for you at all, and then it produces a lot of waste because these plastic bottles are just, you know, thrown into the garbage. And you know, we all know in Thailand there's a major problem with plastic, and there's no, you know, I don't know about the recycling facilities, but you know, I don't think the government is really making it easy for people to recycle either.
No, and I mean, Sweden is the opposite of Thailand. Like, if there's anything we're good at, it's knowing like how to recycle and how to make a country as Tier 150. We got 2 people behind us running on the road. I'm taking shots. It's making like the country as green as possible. So right now, you actually cannot get plastic bags for free anymore. Every time you buy a plastic bag, it will be going towards a more green Sweden. And not only that, you have to pay for all of them. So and some stores don't even sell them. You have to bring your own. It's like you reuse the same plastic bag over and over.
That's great. Yeah, Canada started doing that about like 5 years ago. And they would charge 5 cents, 5 cents for each plastic bag, and it became so like culturally accepted that people just, you know, were always carrying around these reusable bags, and some people kind of looked at you funny if you like asked for a plastic bag. You know, it was already like this big cultural like shift. Which is great. Yeah, so I think countries like in Europe and North America have already started along that path, but in Southeast Asia, it's definitely a lot harder when there's a lack of education,
I mean,
a lack of awareness.
Thailand is like top 5 most used plastic country in the world.
Yeah, that's why I said it's like
Really?
the opposite.
I thought it was like number 1.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
Because,
I mean, we have a long way to go.
But yeah, it's like, it was funny because if you go to 7-Eleven here in Thailand, they'll be like, "Oh, you want an extra plastic bag?" Pretty much, they'll just put one plastic bag and they'll put another one to make sure it doesn't break, even though it would actually never break. And then they'll like
For
put
everything.
yeah, like you. Sometimes when I go to 7-Eleven and I buy stuff for like $6, I have 6 plastic bags walking home. While in Sweden, they're like, they don't even ask you for a plastic bag. Like, we walked in there and we're like, "Can we have a plastic bag?" So they're actually, I don't know if they're not allowed to, but they don't ask if you want a plastic bag. You have to ask for it yourself in every store I went into now that I was home. I'm not sure if it's a rule or if that's just, generally they care about the environment, people. But either way, I thought that was very interesting now that I've lived here for a year. And plastic is just, yeah, here, have some plastic. Here, have some plastic.
What's up with some people coming from north? Yeah. That's another thing about bottled drinking water. It's all about plastic waste.
Yeah.
Plus, I think when the plastic gets into a certain temperature, it releases a certain chemical.
Yeah, I mean the chemicals from the plastic, like when the plastic is heated up, it leaches into, the food or the water, whatever it's storing.
Yeah, and if you guys have a chance, please watch our friend's documentary called Plastic Ocean. His name is Craig. He produced the whole documentary. It's about the whole plastic waste, like all that goes into our ocean.
Yeah, it's very eye-opening and very tragic. So yeah, you just see all the sea life that are being affected by the plastic, and it's plastic doesn't just like biodegrade, decompose, like other materials. It stays around, almost forever. And these fish are eating the plastic, or they're getting caught in the plastic, or they're eating it and it's rupturing their insides. It's very, very sad.
Yeah, definitely think we could have like a complete standalone topic on plastic in general. But let's try and let's degrade from that topic for now, considering that's not part of it now, and we'll probably continue talking for 2 hours.
Let's come over here.
Yeah, so let's wrap it up a little bit. So so overall we all agree in pretty much that it's the government's job and not the individual to make sure that investments are going towards cleaner and healthier water, and it should be sustainable by being filtered. It shouldn't be something you buy in a store. It should be something that you have access to at home. And if you go to a restaurant, they shouldn't give you bottled water, they should give you tap water. Am I getting that correct, or are you guys disagreeing with that?
Yeah, I mean, or bring, try not to use something that's one-time use, like, that's...
Thank you guys very much for watching the Game Over Stream Team podcast today. We went over with a walkthrough in PUBG. We'll probably have that as one episode, so this podcast will be in 2 episodes. One with the walkthrough of PUBG, and the second one talking about sustainable technology. So thank you very much, Sarah, Liz, and Chu for being part of the podcast. And I'll let you guys say some goodbye words before we finish up.
Thanks, guys. Yep.
Bye.
That's all you have to say. Bye.
Goodbye.
You can
Thank
be
you
like,
for having
say
us,
something
guys.
else?
I mean, okay, I'll do it for you, Sarah. Hey, guys, check out Game Over Lounge, the coolest place here in Bangkok, in Thong Lo. I'm Sarah. I'm the general manager here of the place. You guys should definitely come here. I'll give you a free beer if you come here for the first time. Just make sure to say, "I watched the podcast." You'll get 50% off your first beer. There we go.
Ooh. On Pontus.
Oh, on me. Okay, shit. I take that back. Now, do you guys have any final words? No?
Thank you guys for watching, and there was some really good comments in the comment section, so you guys are really taking part. And if you'd like to see myself or Sarah back on the podcast.
Yeah, let us know if you want the girls back, and we'll bring them back for another topic. I'm sure the plastic topic would be great for them, for example. But yeah, okay guys, thank you very much for watching.
Thank you guys so much for watching today's episode of the Game Over Stream Team podcast. We'll be bringing you new content every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. In the meantime, why not check out the previous episode by clicking right here, or watch a random episode by clicking here.